All right, hello everyone. We'll be starting the 12th meeting of the Community and Protective Services Committee. I'd like to welcome everybody in council chambers, staff in front of us, everyone online, and everyone in the gallery, one member in the gallery. Just a second. Oh, okay. So please check the city website for additional meeting detail information. Meetings can be viewed via live streaming on YouTube and the city website. And we'll begin with the land acknowledgement. The City of London is situated on the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, Lenapewauk, and Attawandaron. We honor and respect the history, languages, and culture of the diverse Indigenous people who call this territory home. The City of London is currently home to many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit today. As representatives of the people of the City of London, we are grateful to have the opportunity to work and live in this territory. The City of London is committed to making every effort to provide alternate formats and communication supports for meetings upon request. To make a request specific to this meeting, please contact cpsc@london.ca or call 519-661-2489 extension 2425. So I have committee members in today. I have Councillor Pelosa. I'll recognize the visiting members in a second. These are members of the committee. I have Councillor Pelosa to my left, Councillor Pribble to my right. I am here myself. I have regrets sent from Councillor McAllister, who will not be able to attend today, and Councillor Trosso may be dropping in online at some point in the meeting. And then I will also recognize visiting members now. Councillor Frank is here. Okay, so I will look to members for any disclosures of interest. None? Okay, so we will start with the consent items. There are 4. I have no pull requests for any consent items, so I will look to committee to move a motion or let me know of anything that you would like to pull. Is that moving all consent items? Okay. Moved by Councillor Pelosa, seconded by Councillor Pribble. Okay, I will look to members for any comments or questions. Councillor Pelosa, just a second.
It's just a brief comment on item 2.2 being the Earl Nichols Recreation Center contribution agreement. As the ward councillor, thank you to staff for getting this before us, seeing as we've already done the media, thanking them for the money, doing the paperwork to actually take the money. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Looking to other councillors for any comments on any of the, or questions on any of the consent items. Councillor Pribble, please go ahead.
Thank you, Sir Chair. To the staff, first comments, I think it's really great the way we are leveraging the higher levels of government money and, you know, the energy reduction of 42.6% and total carbon dioxide decrease by 246. I think that's all great news. I just had a question in regards of the funding and the 1/3 that's by our municipality. Currently, it's there kind of as a one lump sum. It's not broken into the years. And I just wanted to know if it's going to be hitting our current multi-year budget or the next one, and if it's going to be over multiple years or just in 1 year. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Ms. Smith.
Thank you, and through the chair, thank you for the question. This money is in the current multi-year budget in the current year. It's life cycle renewal funding. It's the end of life actually for the current equipment in the facility. So it's very good timing that we could leverage federal government money to not only replace our equipment, but replace it with better and more green equipment at our arena, similar to what we did at Kinsman Arena. So the money's in the budget. It's in our life cycle renewal that is in there to replace the current equipment that has reached its end of life.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Councillor Pribble.
Thank you very much. No more questions on this one.
Thank you, Councillor. I have Councillor Frank.
Thank you, and thank you for recognizing me today at this committee. I just had a comment and a question for 2.3 regarding the contract for 345 Sylvan. First, I just want to say thank you very much to staff and London Middlesex Community Housing for all the hard work they're doing to bring this location online. As most people know, it's 42 new units, and if anyone is a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy fan, that's a very great number. It's the answer to life, the universe, and everything. Now you're going to have to go Google it because you don't know what I'm talking about. But it is, I'm very much looking forward to opening this and welcoming new residents to the Ward 11 neighborhood. I did have one question. I'm just wondering, given the lessons we've learned at 122 Baseline, which is also operated by LMCH, I'm just wondering through you to staff if they can just highlight some of the improvements they've made to some of the operations plan for 345 Sylvan Street.
Thank you, Councillor. Mr. Felberg.
Thank you, and through you, Mr. Chair. So we've been working with LMCH since earlier this year to develop a really robust plan and an operating pro forma. So we've got in the property management agreement, you'll see day-to-day tenant administration is a big part of what LMCH will be doing, as well as repairs and oversight of typical repairs and activities within the building itself. Additionally, through some of the RHI funding which was contributed to this project, there's also a series of reporting structure and financial management that they'll be providing back to the city so that we can meet our obligations to CMHC for the funding. And then additionally, they'll be working with us on a regular basis when there's items of major capital repair as well. Additionally, they've been working on bringing in tenants. They actually have 2 tenants that are on board right now. The tenants are coming off of our wait list as well. So Social and Health Development have been working very closely with LMCH to identify tenants and the right tenant mix to fit within our RHI responsibilities as well. So quite a number of things, and we certainly have some work to do with 122 Baseline, but we'll be coming back to committee in the near future to talk about that.
Thank you, Councillor.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And again, appreciate all the hard work that's gone into this.
Thank you, Councillor. Back to Councillor Purple.
Thank you, through the chair, to this point as well. First of all, kudos again to the team, and as already said, 42 units, absolutely fantastic news. I just overheard that there are 2 that already have moved in, but because my question is, when are the tenants planning to move in? I know it says Q3, but more specific, please.
Thank you, Councillor. Mr. Felberg.
Through you, Mr. Chair. So many of the tenants that we're bringing into this building, because we're looking at affordable rents, it's not folks coming from necessarily our social housing wait list. They're actually providing notice to the locations where they're currently living right now. So we also want to stage that in over time with the capacity of the organizational structure at LMCH. So for them to be able to have a good start when they get into the building so that when they're there, they understand what the rules are, they understand what the expectations are, especially around things like guest management. So 2 have moved in. It looks like I think another 5 or so this week are moving in, and then over the next number of weeks into late October, early November, we should have the building filled up.
Thank you. Councillor?
Thank you. Follow up. So even though 2 are there and this agreement hasn't been signed yet, there are no concerns or any issues with that particular item? And that's my question to you, sorry. And the other one, let me just quickly check. The individuals, have they been already identified? Because currently what we see here that there's kind of the 11 units for survivors of domestic violence. So I was just wondering if they have been identified and if there is any issue with the timing agreement not being signed yet.
Thank you, Councillor. Mr. Felberg.
Through you, Mr. Chair. So through our shareholder agreement with LMCH, one of the items that they provide us is that affordable housing property management. This agreement actually formalizes it for this specific property and establishes some of the capital and the operating pro forma for us. With respect to the additional tenants and identifying which tenants and how they align with RHI, our teams are working within the wait list. The wait list, as you know, I think is around 7,000 or so is on our wait list right now. So there's a number of different items that we track in that. And then we're identifying those folks. Offers are made to the individuals on that wait list, and then LMCH is working with them to bring them, tour the building, bring them into the building, and then have them move in if they're an appropriate tenant.
Thank you. Councillor?
Thank you. And the last question, on page 42, where we have the figure 2 Sylvan project governance structure. My question is, the other projects, do we have the similar or same structure in place? And also, are there other municipalities in Ontario having similar structures, or are they different? Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Back to Mr. Felberg.
Through you, Mr. Chair, just confirming, when you're saying other projects, you're talking about Baseline, Thompson, yeah. So essentially, that is what we're doing. So the municipal housing team and the housing stability services team, we meet with the property managers, so Indwell and LMCH. We're working with them on those various items, and if there are items that need to come back to council for council decision and direction, we'll bring those back in the future. As I noted, for 122 Baseline, that is something we're planning on doing as well. We want to look at an operating pro forma there that works for the long term for that building as well. As far as other municipalities across Ontario, there are 47 different service managers across the province, and every service manager has a slightly different way of doing things. Essentially, though, council is the decision maker and the service manager through staff, that those responsibilities delegated to staff, we work with through council in order to make a similar governance model.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. And last question, follow-up. Have you done the comparison with the other municipalities as Mr. Felberg just said, that everyone is a little bit different or they could have a preference? Have you done the kind of the comparison, comparative analysis, benchmarking, and this is the model that kind of suits us the most currently for our city?
Through you, Mr. Chair. So no, we haven't done that specifically in relation to our affordable buildings and what that kind of model would be. That's certainly something we can take back, and something we could incorporate into that future report on 122 Baseline.
Thank you, Councillor.
Thank you very much. No more questions.
Thank you. Looking to committee again for any comments or questions for the items. Visiting members? Last call. Calling the question.
Closing the vote, the motion carries 3-0.
Okay, that leaves us to schedule items. I have none, and then items for direction, also none. We have two items for the deferred matters additional business. So looking to committee to put 5.1, move a motion for that. Just looking for something to be put on the floor to speak to. Moved by Councillor Pelosa, that's item 5.1.
Yeah, I'll put the staff report on the floor.
And looking for a seconder. Seconded by Councillor Pribble. Okay, looking to committee for any comments or questions. Councillor Pribble.
Thank you, and through the chair to the staff. Again, very positive news on the page 202. We have two deadlines, December 24th, the agreement, and also April 25th deadline commence the project to secure the OPHI funding. The only question I have, any concerns with either one of these deadlines?
Thank you, Councillor. Mr. Felberg.
Through you, Mr. Chair. At this point, I'm not, if you recall, we brought a report to committee in May of this year where we awarded a single source project to an architect to undertake the design for these buildings. So we've already started doing the work in order to prepare for that. By December, we need to make a commitment to the province of how we're going to use the OPHI. We typically refer to that as OFI funding. And then by April, we need to actually be putting shovels in the ground at that time. We don't have any reason to believe that the proposed developer that's in the award today will not be able to hit those targets and be able to commit to the December timeline or the April timeline. And so at this point, with this council award, then we can get going on the project and get into the details of what needs to be done in order to start construction.
Thank you. Councillor?
Thank you. No more questions.
Thank you. I have Councillor Pelosa next. I do not have Councillor Pelosa next. Okay. Okay. Looking to members of committee for any further questions, comments, visiting members? None? Okay, let's call the question.
Closing the vote, the motion carries 3-0.
Okay, that leaves us with our last item. That's 5.2. looking for a mover and a seconder to put this on the floor. Counselor?
Thank you. Just looking through you to the clerks are we moving that civic administration be requested to report back to the committee about cashless payments at Canada Life Center for the accessibility community and/or the resignation letter and a spot to be filled on the committee?
Through the chair, yes, the motion I have in eScribe has that request pulled out for direction from the committee. Staff has indicated that they are able to report back in November, which the committee is expecting. And at this time, we will not be moving to fill resignation, the resignation, because the new term will be starting pretty soon, and we'll be recruiting for that.
Thank you. Through the chair, happy to move the motion as it's indicated in eScribe.
Thank you, Counselor. Looking for a seconder? Seconded by Counselor Pribble. Okay, just looking to committee once again for any comments or questions. None? Visiting members? None? Okay, let's call the question.
Closing the vote, the motion carries 3-0.
Okay, thank you. Now that leaves us with the confidential items. So we're going to go into camera for 6.1, personal matters, identifiable individual, a personal matter pertaining to the identifiable individuals, including municipal employees with respect to the 2025 Mayor's New Year's Honors List. 6.2, the same, and 6.3, the same. So looking to committee to move a motion to go into camera. Moved by Councilor Ploza, looking for a seconder. I'll second that. Okay, let's call the question.
Closing the vote, the motion carries 3-0.
Okay, we are back in the public session. I am going to look to the Vice Chair, the Honorable Councillor Elizabeth Pelosa, Budget Chair of the city, to report out.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Reporting out from confidential session that the 3 items identified on the public agenda regarding the New Year's Mayor's Honors List were, progress was made in confidential. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. That leaves us to adjournment. I will look to committee for a mover to adjourn, moved by Councillor Pribble, seconded by myself. That's a hand vote. Okay, hand vote. All those in favor for adjournment? All those opposed? That motion carries. We're adjourned.